It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to this middle school edition of Science Bowl. Play along and test your own science IQ with these 6 outstanding scholars. Let's meet today's teams. First, from Stephen Decatur Middle School, say hello to Anthony Turner, Christine Howard, and Jethro Punzalan. And from Walker Mill Middle School, here are Mark Woods, Alpha Gassama, and Cameron Gould. And now here are the categories of questions we use on Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to the difficulty of the questions, with the easier ones worth 5 and 10 on the left. The tougher questions worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points apiece. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. At the end of the 2 rounds, one of these 2 good-looking teams will come back to play our game again and perhaps move on, become one of the 4 finalists in this year's middle school competition. Let's make sure everything works properly. Let's go to the red team. And Christine, would you try your buzzer for me? Thank you. Good luck to you, to Anthony, and to Jethro. And the green team, Alpha, would you try yours? Looks and sounds good. Good luck to you and to Mark and to Cameron. Are we ready to play? Yes. Let's do this thing. Congratulations on being chosen by your schools to be ambassadors. You've already won just because you're here. So good to have you. We go alphabetically S before W. So, Christine, let's start the bowl. Give me a category and a number.
We'd like Zoo Parade for 15, please.
Zoo Parade for 15 points. Teams, whale sharks, the biggest fish in the world, are called that because they're very big like whales. They open their mouth and they filter feed like whales, but like sharks, they breathe this way. Stephen Decatur.
Through their gills? Through
their gills, absolutely right. That means that they are fish and they are cold-blooded too, unlike whales, which are warm-blooded. Okay. You drew first blood. Go, Christine.
Dateline Science for 5, please.
Dateline for 5 points. Teams, because it was so dry in Texas this past summer, everyone is worried about these favorite butterflies. Will they have Walker Mill? Gentlemen. Yes, sir.
Dangerous wings.
Again?
Wings.
Not wings, no, Stephen Decatur. Because it was so dry in Texas this past summer, everyone is worried about these favorite butterflies. Will they have enough nectar to fuel them on their migration to Mexico? The monarch butterflies, because that's part of their migratory pathway. With no flowers down there blooming, we don't know how they're going to fuel up. So everyone's worried about those monarchs that everyone seems to love. Go red.
Let's get physical for 5, please.
Get physical for 5 points. Teams, on the Big Bang television show, Sheldon always says a light year is not a measure of time, but rather of this. Stephen Decatur.
Distance?
Distance, absolutely right. You measure distances in the solar system via light years. Thank you, Anthony, for your assist on that one. Go again, red.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. This is kind of disgusting. This body waste product, if it is fresh, is good as a sanitizer, and if you mix it with water, it's a good fertilizer. Stephen Decatur.
Urine.
Feces?
Not feces, nope. Walker Mill, if it is fresh, it's a good sanitizer, this body waste product. Mix it with water, it's a good fertilizer. Come on, guys.
Pee?
Pee, absolutely right. Urine. In fact, oftentimes In a pinch, a doctor can use fresh urine to sanitize instruments if he's got to make an emergency surgery decision. So, good. All right. Go green. Walker Mill. Alpha, you pick one. That's your responsibility.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, if you want to stop a flower from flowering, you can literally nip it in the what? Walker Mill.
To
Mark.
In the bud.
Nip it in the bud. Absolutely right. I knew you knew that one. You just about jumped out of your chair over there. That's what I like. I like that enthusiasm. All right, Walker Mill, advantage you. You're 5 points behind. Pick one, Alpha.
Body systems for 15 points.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, in this age of miniaturization, there is now a medical test that takes place on a postage stamp. Put a drop of blood on there. It will filter out the red and the white blood cells. It will let what liquid part of the blood come through. Name that liquid part, Walker Mill.
Plasma.
You got that right, plasma. All right, green team, you're on a roll. Go again. You're in the lead.
Body systems for 5 points.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, thanks to the popularity of the iPod, people everywhere are now walking around with buds in their what? Stephen Decatur.
Ears.
In their ear. Earbuds. Everybody seems to have them. Good comeback there. Stephen Decatur, 75. Walker Mill, 80 points. Advantage red. Christine. Yes, ma'am.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, when Steve Jobs introduced his new iPod, the itty-bitty one that could fit in the little pocket inside the pocket in his jeans, he named it for this prefix that means one. Yes, Stephen Decatur.
Shuffle.
Again?
Shuffle.
Not shuffle, no. He named, Steve Jobs did, this new itty-bitty iPod for the prefix that means 1/billionth. Gentlemen, what do you think? It was nano, the iPod Nano. Nano is a prefix that means 1/billionth. Go again, red.
Let's get physical for 15.
Let's get physical, 15 points. Teams, your question is as follows. During a supernova, which is an exploding star, what is left behind, the debris that's left? Walker Mill. Yes, sir.
Gas and stardust.
Not gas and stardust. Stephen Decatur, after a supernova, an exploding star, the debris that's left behind is sometimes characterized by intense gravity. What do we call that thing?
A neutron star.
A black hole. A black hole is what we're after there. All right, that was a quick first round. Still almost at a dead heat. Stephen Decatur at 75, Walker Mill at 80. We'll be back with round 2 in just a moment. Don't you go away.
You can never know which pool safety step will save a life. Until it does. No matter how safe you feel, adding multiple safety steps can mean the difference between a close call and a call to 911. Simple steps save lives. To learn some new ones, visit poolsafely.gov.
And welcome back to Science Bowl. 6 outstanding middle school students here playing our game today. Let's find out a little bit more about each one of them. Let's go first to Stephen Decatur Middle School. Anthony and Christine and Jethro, good start today. Tell me, Christine, how did you prepare for your time on the Science Bowl?
Well, first we started meeting twice a week after school, and we practiced a lot at home by taking notes and watching a lot of science TV.
Well, it shows because you're really working together good as a team over there. And they made you captain, you told me, because you got a good trigger finger, you got good reflexes. Tell me first of all about Stephen Decatur. Where in Prince George's County is it?
It's near Andrews Air Force Base.
Yeah, down in the southern portion of the county. And who's your principal?
Our principal is Mr. Barry Cyrus.
Wonderful. He's a great principal. He's been there for a number of years. And your sponsor is Miss Quadera.
Yes.
And she is out there. We thank her for all of her hard work getting this team ready. And did you have any alternates on your team, Christine?
Yes, we had Brandon Welcome and Shelby.
We'll bring them out along with Miss Quadera at the end of the program. Tell me about Stephen Decatur. What do you brag about to your friends? What is great about Stephen Decatur?
Oh, we have great teachers. They are so great in helping us do our work, and they make sure we get our classwork done and we do good on tests.
Wow. So, I mean, if you don't have great teachers, there's no reason to go. You need adults who are really concerned about your welfare. It seems like you've got that. Tell me about yourself. What do you do in your spare time?
I like to read, and I like to spend time with my family.
Wonderful. And what do you see yourself doing someday?
I see myself as a doctor, a graduate of Harvard Medical School.
Wow, I like people with big ambitions, and you've got a good head on your shoulders. I have a feeling you can do whatever you want to do. You're welcome. Jethro, nice to see you. Tell us the Jethro story. What do you do in your spare time?
In my spare time, I like to read also, and I like to go on the computer.
Wow. What kind of books do you like, Jethro?
I like books, pretty much any book, but specifically nonfiction for some reason.
Okay. And tell me about your ambitions, your future ambitions here.
I want to be a doctor, and I want to graduate from a nice college like Harvard or Princeton, something like that.
Sounds like you're all drinking the same water over there. Another doctor, another one who wants to go to a great school. I think that's tremendous. Are you going to join them? Are you going to have like a joint office here, Anthony? You want to be a doctor too?
No, I don't want to be a doctor.
All right, he's got his own mind. What do you want to do?
Well, I want to be an astrophysicist.
Astrophysicist. And you got interested in physics? I know you told me because you're interested in math.
Yes.
Yeah. And what do you do in your spare time?
Well, I like reading and using a computer. Yeah.
Just normal kid stuff today, right? Where would we be without computers and without your friends and your family? Now's the time to really enjoy yourself, but also be thinking about that future goal. Keep up your good work, Stephen Decatur. Walker Mill, nice to have you guys here. Alpha, nice to see you back again. We saw you when you were smaller. You were in Perrywood Elementary School on Science Bowl. Now you're at Walker Mill. You're the captain. Tell us about Walker Mill. It's right here in the central part of Prince George's County. Who's your principal?
Mr. Gorman Brown.
Mr. Brown, and he's a fantastic principal, one of the best here in Prince George's County. And he's here today, is he not?
Yes.
We're going to bring him out in a few moments so you'll have a chance to meet him. And you had some alternates on your team, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Who were they?
We have Trevor, we have Devin, and we have
I think Nafari.
yeah, Nafari.
That's right. And we'll bring all them out. That's a lot to remember. They'll be standing. Now, that's your school uniform, isn't it? That,
Yes.
Those purple shirts over there, those maroon shirts over there. Tell me about Walker Mill, Alf. I was asking Christine what she liked about Stephen Decatur. I assume you have great teachers there as well?
Yes.
What else is it about Walker Mill that makes it a special place for you?
Well, the activities that are there, I like the extracurricular things, and I like the teachers too.
Yeah. Like what kind of extracurricular activities? Which ones are you part of?
We have the robotics team.
Wow.
We have dance team, step team. We have,
Wonderful. So you've got academics and athletics, and you've got other kinds of extracurriculars there. Where are you headed someday, Alpha?
Well, I'd like to be a civil engineer or architect, and I would like to go to MIT.
Wow, I love that. I love it. And Mark, you too want to be an engineer, right?
Yes.
An electrical engineer. So are you and Alpha, are you friends off the set as well?
Yes.
You know each other some?
Yes.
So you're both interested in engineering. What got you interested in that field?
When I was little, I used to help my dad. He owns rental properties, and he would go fix things. And I'll always be interested and go with him.
Yeah. Well, that's a great apprenticeship, because you're in there and you're tinkering with things, and you feel so good when you fix something and it works again. Isn't that right?
Yes.
I love your enthusiasm. Tell me how you got ready for today's program. Did you practice?
My dad is also a science teacher, so every day he would come home and quiz me.
Wow. So you can't leave science, can you? You got it at school, you got it at home. I know how proud he must be of you, Mark. Nice to have you with us today. And Cameron, nice to have you here. Tell me your story. What do you want to do someday?
I want to be an archaeologist and graduate from Princeton.
And from Princeton, we've got Princeton, MIT, Harvard, all the Ivy League schools are going to be filled pretty soon with Prince George's graduates. Why do you like archaeology so much?
Because I like to discover things that people have never seen before.
Yeah. So there are paleontologists, the dinosaur explorers, and then the archaeologists, the artifacts that humans left from years ago. Well, I wish you a lot of luck in that. Thanks for being with us today. Our score, 80 Walker Mill, 75 Stephen Decatur. Lots of points to give away. We go back to Christine to start us out.
Green things for 15, please.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, if you want to make sure that the soil in your backyard is acidic enough for the pumpkins you might want to grow, you better go to the hardware store and buy yourself this kind of soil kit. Walker Mill. Yes, sir.
I'll give this to Mark.
Mark?
pH.
That's what I want to hear, a pH testing soil kit. I didn't think you were going to pull that one out of the hat. You did it nicely. Go. Green.
Science potpourri for 5 points.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, if something is vitrified, it's turned to glass. But if something is petrified, Stephen Decatur?
It turns to stone.
It turns to stone, yeah. The Gorgon Medusa. Remember, if she looked at you, you turned to stone. So don't make eye contact with that lady. Go red.
Zoo parade for 25, please.
Zoo parade 25, big one in that category. Teams, look at the monitor in the studio if you would, please. That's a hammerhead shark, bizarre-looking creature. Its eyes are at the end of those two stalks. It does not see well, but it can locate its prey accurately. Walker Mill?
I'll give it to Cameron.
Cameron?
Using sonar electricity from its nostrils.
Oh, that's a great hypothesis there, and I'm sure it uses some of that. Let me finish it for Stephen Decatur. Eyesight very poor for locating prey, but because most of its brain is devoted to olfaction, it makes it very acute with what sense?
Smell.
Smell. It has a wonderful sense of smell. Absolutely. Good comeback there. Nice try there, Green. Go again, red. 10-point lead. Christine.
Let's get physical for 20.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Teams, three-part answer. I need all three. If you're a commodities trader, you are probably going to be very interested in the three metals with the chemical symbols AU, AG, and CU. What are those three metals? Stephen Decatur, I need all three. AU, AG, CU.
Gold, silver, copper.
I'd like to pass it to Anthony, please.
Anthony?
Gold, silver, and copper.
You got them all. Nicely done, Anthony. Silver, gold, and copper. Go red. Yes, ma'am.
So let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Teams, computing today is using a lot of data whose source we don't know. In fact, the term we use is the same as the condensed water droplets that we see in the sky above us. Christine?
Condensation?
Not condensation, good try. The kind of computing where the data comes from sources where we don't always know has what same name as these condensed water droplets that we see in the sky above us. Yes, sir. Clouds, cloud computing, condensed water droplets in the sky. That's the analogy I was after there. Try again, please, red.
Zoo parade for 10.
Zoo parade for 10 points. Teams, the Florida sandhill crane and the Alabama snapping turtle are among 374 freshwater species that just may be listed on this list nobody wants to make. Stephen Decatur.
The endangered species list.
That's what I want to hear. Good. Go.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Look at the monitor in the studio, please, if you would. We've got a pitcher plant coming up for you. Pitcher plants, Charles Darwin at one time said they were insectivorous, but we know them better as this kind of plant. Stephen Decatur.
Carnivorous.
Carnivorous, that's what I want to hear. Good, go, red.
Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo.
Oh.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo parade for 20 points. Seems your question is as follows. What Australian marsupial with the satanic name Walker Mill?
Kangaroo?
Not kangaroo, no. What Australian marsupial with the satanic name has not recovered from a deadly facial cancer that is almost wiping it out?
The Tasmanian devil.
That's what I want to hear. Satanic names, Tasmanian devil. Good. Go. Red.
Body system for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, the late Steve Jobs suffered from islet... Walker Mill?
Pancreatic cancer.
That's what I want to hear, pancreatic cancer. You jumped way ahead of me. That's what you needed to do to get back in this game, and you're there. Go green. You're down 60. Where, Alpha?
Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25 points, teams. What H-initialed word means profuse bleeding, such as women sometimes experience in childbirth in developing countries? Walker Mill. For 25 points.
I'll give this to Cameron.
Cameron?
Their period?
H-initialed, I said. H-initialed. Stephen Decatur, what H-initialed term describes profuse bleeding, such as women sometimes experience during childbirth in developing countries?
Heredity?
Good try. Hemorrhage. Hemorrhage was the word. Go again, Alpha.
Dateline science for 10 points.
Dateline science for 10 teams. What protective layer in the atmosphere that keeps us from ultraviolet radiation? Walker Mill.
I'd like to give this a Mark.
Mark?
Ozone layer.
That's what I want to hear. Ozone for 10 more points. Go green.
Zoo parade for 5.
Zoo parade for 5 points, teams. Even though most birds don't have a Twitter account, many of them can do this. Stephen Decatur.
Chirp.
What?
Chirp.
Not chirp. Walker Mill, even though many birds don't have a Twitter account, many of them can do this.
I'll give this a Mark.
Mark?
Tweet.
Tweet. That's right. Tweety bird. Go green. Alpha, you pick.
Dateline science for 15 points.
Dateline for 15 points. Teams. The Nobel Prize in 1927 was given to a man who thought he could cure syphilis by purposely infecting people with this disease that is normally carried by a mosquito. Stephen Decatur.
Malaria.
That's what I want to hear. Yes, a very bad idea as it turned out. Go, red.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points, teams. Recently, they sent the seeds of the Wisconsin fast plant, which is a kind of broccoli, into space. The seeds did this, but afterwards they didn't grow very much. What did those seeds do, Green?
Sprouted.
Give me another word. Yes, sir.
I'll give this a
Cameron?
Bloom.
Again?
Bloom.
Not bloom, no. The seeds of these broccoli-like plants in space, they did do this, but afterwards they didn't grow very much, Christine.
They reproduced.
They germinated. They germinated. That's what I wanted to hear. Go red.
Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points, teams. If you watch CSI, you know that the technologists are always looking for latent evidence of these swirls and twirls. Yes, Walker Mill.
Fingerprints.
Fingerprints. All right, that's the way to do it, Cameron. Come on, green.
Science potpourri for 20.
Science potpourri for 20 points, teams. The monument on the Washington Mall to President Franklin Roosevelt shows him sitting in a wheelchair because during his entire adult life, he tried to hide the fact that he had this. Stephen Decatur.
He had polio.
He had polio, absolutely right, and nobody knew it. Nobody knew it. Go.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline for 20 points, teams, because we are living longer. Many of us are developing this A-initial disease that robs us. Walker Mill. Yes, please. Gentlemen.
AIDS.
Not AIDS. Good try. Stephen Decatur, because we're living longer, many of us are developing this A-initial disease that robs us of our personalities.
Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's, absolutely. Less than 2 minutes. 4 questions left. Where to?
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical 25. Big one in that category, teams. Now we have a picture for you. The newest Girl Scout badge is called the Science of Happiness. But the Girl Scouts couldn't seem to decide what piece of glassware to illustrate the badge with. I'll give Stephen Decatur.
Beaker.
A beaker.
Not a beaker. Walker Mill, you can get 25 much-needed points if you can tell me what 2 pieces of glassware it looks like the Girl Scouts put together. It's a hybrid piece of glassware. Can you give them to me? What you think? Yes, sir. Somebody talk.
A test tube and a beaker.
No, it's a flask and a graduated cylinder with those little markings on it. Go again, Christine.
Science potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25. Big one in that category. Teams in 2014 say goodbye to incandescent light bulbs. We will all be using CFLs. What are those CFLs that we'll have to use? Walker Mill. Gentlemen, come on.
I'll give this to
Light bulbs.
Well, I need to know what kind of light bulbs. Stephen Decatur, the CFLs. What are those bulbs that are going to replace the incandescents?
Carbon fluorescent.
Almost. Compact fluorescent bulbs. And the buzzer has sounded. It looks like the game is over, a hard-fought match. We'll double-check that score and be back with you in just a moment. Don't go away.
Because play might be the best way to fight obesity.
Because staying connected makes my family stronger, healthier, and happier.
Because a safe place after school can lead to success in school.
Because physical activity is vital to my health and well-being.
Because I need to make my world better.
Because playing team sports teaches the character and social skills that build leaders.
Because learning with others makes for a greater understanding.
Because we need each other.
Because we need each other.
Because we need each other.
And welcome back. We hope you enjoyed this game at home as much as we did here in the studio. 6 outstanding young people. We are proud of all of you. You played a tremendous game and you're wonderful ambassadors for your school. Our final tally today is Walker Mill 155, Stephen Decatur 220. Congratulations, Anthony, Christine, and Jethro. Smile, you guys won. That's what we want to see. Miss Quadera, congratulations to you. We will see you next round. And also the wonderful alternates there. Shelby, wave to everybody. Shelby and Brandon. I know how proud you are of that team. I want to see some smiles over here too. You guys are real competitors. You never gave up. I love how you play the game. Mark and Alpha and Cameron. And way back there, our alternates. They got a shadow team. Travis, Nefertari, Devin, Miss Hafez, their wonderful sponsor, and Mr. Brown. We are honored that you took time, Principal Brown, to be here today. What a great group of people you have over there. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next time on another edition of Science Bowl. Bye-bye.